All right, guys, welcome on this Sunday afternoon to the little live chat I got going on here about some comics. I have been really under the weather here the last couple days, so hopefully my voice is all right. I've had some problems breathing, so I may run out of breath if I get on long-winded here and stuff. So while we're waiting for a few people to show up here, I'm gonna see if I can find this on my phone so I can look at the chats and stuff. And basically, it's not a huge haul that I've got, but I've gotten some really good stuff the last couple weeks here and stuff. Some really good stuff sent to me. I have found this on my phone, and I should be able to see the chat now. Maybe. Oh, no, that's not me.
Story called Family Matters.
Interesting. It went to the video underneath it. But anyway, I hope everybody is getting excited about Halloween. There we are. I got going on here about some comics. All right, guys, now that we're on here, get the live chat going. What up, Howler? Nice to see you, brother. And I'm going to go ahead and show you, man. For some reason, if I don't recognize your avatar, like it's really showing up, if I don't recognize your avatar, it actually puts your name in like white letters on a white background on a small phone. That's a smart. Oh, I can see, though, that we have a Ghost Critic, Mark. Ghost Critic guy, it's interesting. On YouTube, we have gone back on years now. You know, it's like sometimes like it's long overdue for us to just hang out somewhere. All right, so to get started with one of the projects I'm starting to do, and the project is really making it sound more than what it is, but one of the loves I've always had for comic books that I've talked about on my channel and stuff is like everything that used to make a comic book. You'd have the cover, you'd have these special little ads that you would see nowhere else but on comic books and stuff. And then every now and then you would see an advertisement for a series that was coming out that you get real excited about. And I was going through some junk comics over here and stuff to get rid of. They had a yard sale, community like yard sale over here at the library in this town. And as I was flipping through it, I found this fantastic ad from, I think, 1988 in the back of a Shadowline comic book, Doc Zero #2 or something. It's an 80s thing with Marvel, and it was the coming of martial law. I'm a huge martial law fan. I've always considered the martial law books to be kind of like the bastard cousin of Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns when it comes to how comic books sort of changed, got the grim and gritty feel, started being written for adults, that whole little era there. And so what I did is I actually demolished the comic, took the staples out, was able to cut it out and took it to the library and have it laminated. And I'm going to start doing this with ads and stuff that I see in comics and stuff, just for my own little personal collection and stuff. So anybody that's got any ads or old junk comics or something and you want to send my way or give me a yellow where I can find them, let me know. One of my favorite ads of all time is, of course, the Sea Monkeys, which was drawn by Joe Orlando, I believe is who drew that. And if you're into comic books, you'll know what that is. Turns out it was Brian Shrimp, but it was a little family of sea monkeys that they called them, and that's what everybody thought they were getting. But this martial law ad just cracks me up. It says, "They say I don't pray for my enemy. I do. I pray they go to hell." And of course, you know, if you read martial law, he hates superheroes, but these are not the superheroes that we know. These are superheroes that have clay feet. All right. So my buddy up in Baltimore, oh man, so good evening. That is so cool. Oh, there we go. See if we can refresh that chat. Okay, so anyway, my buddy Comic Book Hoarder 410 up in Baltimore up in Maryland, went to the Baltimore Comic Book Con, picked me up a few things, right? He knows I'm a Starman fan, and I have a few books signed by Tony Harris, who drew Starman. This is a fantastic series from the 90s. Okay, this really just is a fantastic book. James Robinson wrote it. Tony Harris stuck around for the longest time, continued to do covers. Just a very, I want to say it has cult status, but it should have more. But anyway, this is #1, and he had it signed by Tony Harris, which is just fantastic. Starman is the book that I read the first 5 or 6 issues of, and that first story arc was very different. It was very slow. It was one fight taking place, I guess, over the course of 1 or 2 nights or something, and I dropped it. And that was my mistake, because it was after that first arc that this series really took off. And some of my friends that read the book, they've done this with a movie called High Fidelity also, kept telling me, you need to get the book. It's you. And basically, if there was ever a superhero that I would become, or if there's ever a book where if you wanted to get to know me a little bit better, it would be Jack Knight Starman, which I've read this. I had to put it down. Some of it just little things and their little slices of life that popped up in there really made me back up and stuff when it came to like relationships and his relationship with his father and stuff, and his attitude towards this. He loves old things. He's very nostalgic and stuff like that. Very cool book. So thank you, Matt, for that. Other thing he got me, which was something I never thought I was going to be able to get, because I follow Eric Powell books, The Goon, Big Man Plans, things like that. But if they don't come out through Dark Horse, I would always miss them. He got published through Dark Horse for the longest time. And what happened is that he has brought back his Albatross comics, and he has started Hillbilly #1, and he's got Spook Tales or something getting ready to come out, and a few other books getting ready to come out. And he came out with a sequel to Satan's Sodomy Baby, which was through Dark Horse quite a few years ago. And it comes with a parental warning, as it should. And one of the first books he put out through his Albatross Press was Satan's Sodomy Baby 2, also signed, I think, by, this may be signed inside. I'm not sure if he had it signed or not, man, but I never thought I'd get a hold of this. So I cannot wait to get a hold of this. This book is humorous and it's brutal at the same time. I think this one goes after all the political stuff that's going on. A lot of people told me I need to jump on board and get it there. Yep. Ghost Critic remembers reading martial law. Very awesome. Very awesome. All right. And then the thing that he got that, oh man, I've already put this on Instagram. I threw this on Facebook. I just love this cover. I feel very lucky to have this. But this is the Baltimore Comic-Con exclusive 30th anniversary edition of Labyrinth. It is a comic. It's got several short stories in there. And this is signed by Eric Powell, who did the cover. I mean, this is just beautiful. Labyrinth, Dark Crystal, those legend, those fantasy movies from the 80s and stuff. It really blew my mind as I got older to find out they were considered flops, because I thought they were absolutely fantastic. And I feel very lucky to see them in the theater. I always had them on VHS, always had them on DVD, never really worried about. But Labyrinth apparently was a huge flop, even though it is just unreal how popular it has become over the years and stuff. I've never, the things I found out about that in the background, about how Jim Henson put a lot in there and about broke him from ever making movies because of how bad it flopped. I cannot believe it. Now, not so much a new book, but I got this a couple months ago. It's a hardback I found, I think last month, and it's by Harlan Ellison, called Phoenix with Ashes, and it's by IDW. Now, the thing about this is I started reading it, and I had to set it down because I'm like, wait a minute, this is real familiar. So I started racking my brain trying to figure out, where have I read this before? Did somebody rip off Harlan Ellison? Did Harlan Ellison actually rip off somebody? And it turns out I read the short story probably like in high school, based on one of his apparently more popular short stories. And it's some heavy shit, man. It's some very heavy shit. The subtext in it really says a whole lot about life, religion, you putting boundaries on your life, going out there exploring what's out there, who's around you. Very interesting. Earth has, see, that's just it. To tell the story, you have to ruin it, because you are like, the reader is, it's written in the viewpoint of the main character. I think Devin is the name, who basically you discover the mystery with him of what's going on and what's around you. You're right there with him. You are the main character as you read it and stuff. Now, this was fantastic. Now, I got a little bit of a hustle on this. I'm fine with the price I paid. This retails for $40. You can get it on Amazon for $24.99. I managed to get it for $15. This is 3 trays, right, in this amazing slipcase. This goes back to, a theme here. It seems like Kevin O'Neill is always in the right place at the right time, but this is drawn by Kevin O'Neill, written by Alan Moore. And this is sort of an offshoot of the Leave Extraordinary Gentleman. It is 3 hardback trays that I think you can buy for like maybe $15 a piece in the store, $10 a piece. Okay, that's right. Oh, $14.95, $9.99. Amazing. Anyway, but this is the story of Nemo's Daughter. Okay, and it takes place, I think, in like all the way. It ends in 1975. Has one book. It takes place in 1942, maybe. I'm trying to think. I think the other one was in 1927 or something. But it's kind of her life story, and it's just absolutely brilliant. These are the kind of stories where you want to sit down. The first one is Heart of Ice, and this one really is the subtext of her heart, of her being cold, her living up to Nemo's legacy, considering that he wanted a son. Very cool pulp noir stories. These take, if you read the stories of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, who's it, Jules Verne? Anyway, but this kind of like expands on those stories. It's like it continues in that vein and stuff, right? The Rose of Berlin was a little bit of a cheat of a read, because when the German Nazis in this, if they're called Nazis, actually speak German, they're speaking German. Okay, so if you don't know German, and very authentic. And then the last one, River of Ghosts, was just fantastic, because if you are a Creature from the Black Lagoon fan, you may want to get this. There's 4 or 5 pages that you would find very interesting stuff, right? But of course, I'll get a phone call. Okay, I'll answer it later. So anyway, if you want to get these, I recommend highly getting them if you're an Alan Moore fan. This is after he left Wildstorm in DC with the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was a lot more pop and flash, and what he does is that they fill these books full of Easter eggs from movies and books and novels and magazines and stuff that was going on. But when he left DC, he started writing in a different style where the pop and flash isn't there, but you still got to know your stuff. The Nazis aren't actually Nazis. They're based on the movie The Dictator from the 1940 with, oh my God, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name, Charlie Chaplin. So it's actually it's his character from that movie, who was a parody, a satire of Hitler. So when I started looking up, trying to find the German translation so I could know what the Germans were saying the whole book, I found websites that did whole annotations of every page, and they are so intricate. I mean, I had no idea that I made it through about 3 or 4 pages and just had to walk away. There's so much in there that you don't realize is in there. Okay, another book that I don't know how this flew under my radar. I think Comic Quarter, when I told him I was reading this, he did a video a couple years ago talking about it. But that's it. I think I've seen maybe 1 or 2 other channels even talk about this series. It was 12 issues, and I got they're busted up into 3 trades, and it is Deathmatch. And I ended up getting these for almost $2 a piece at Books A Million, tracking them down. That's the 3rd volume. And here's the 2nd volume. Yeah, and I hope this is coming off all right. My fantastic CenturyLink internet, they're just on the ball there. Oh, cool, comic orders out there. Cool. All right. So anyway, the whole premise of the book is that it's it grabs you. You get in that book and you are there and you're hooked because, number one, there's a mystery. And it's exactly what it sounds. It kind of takes the premise of Contest of Champions, Secret Wars, ties into a little bit of Crisis, and I think I saw something else in there, but I'm not going to say anything, man. But Paul Jenkins gets that, and he takes that whole book, and there's this big mystery. Yes, there are heroes, and there's some villains, and there's neutral characters who have been transported, and they don't know where they're at. It's like they're in this big underground bunker prison or something. So they get around, they get there, and they don't know why they're there, but they actually are taken by these white light sentries, I guess, and they're forced to go into have a death match where they have to kill each other. And there's a scoreboard. Now, it sounds like that's something to be kind of repetitious and stuff, right? But Paul Jenkins is amazing. He's taken these archetype of these characters. You know who Iron Man is. You know who Spider-Man is. You know who Rorschach is. I'm a big fan of the Rat now. I might like the Rat better than I like Rorschach. And you know who all these characters are. So you have your Thor, who's Sol Viticus. He shall die the day that our sun dies and stuff like that. You've got a female version of Batman and Robin who becomes Nightwing, and the Sable and the Mink and stuff. And it's just fantastic. And he busted up the repetition, man. There's things that happen throughout this thing to where it's just this read. It's the first 12 issues of any book that I really had to sit down and just get through. And when I didn't have time to finish, you know, one chapter, I'm actually working or driving, like I got to get home and read that stuff. So Deathmatch, just a fantastic series. There'll definitely be a video on that. Okay. See who's out there now. Let's check the chat, guys. All right. Okay, man. Moving on here. We're getting more viewers and stuff as we go on. Okay. So basically, you know, jumping around from Deathmatch and stuff, I cannot recommend these books anymore, what I've had. And now with my collecting, I've really got so many books and so many things, and I'm really not excited about a whole lot of new books coming out to begin with now that I've kind of taken a step back and I'm collecting certain things. Okay. I've completed my Secret Wars 2 run with all the crossovers. That was in my last live chat. I'm collecting things like movie adaptions, Marvel Super Specials. I've run across those, my Elric stuff. But then it's like I'm getting into the crossovers. I'm about to start, now that I'm done with Secret Wars 2, I'm about to start on Fall of the Mutants. But across all of this, Crisis, all these great crossovers. But while doing this, I've run across this magnificent train wreck that I had no idea what was going on in the background when this came out, man. But it's 1991's. Let me tell them I'll do this shit. Hello. Hey. What are you doing? Okay, well, I'm doing a live show. Yeah. You gonna be up in a little bit? Okay, I'll call you back in a little bit. Love you. Bye-bye. All right. So it was this War of the Gods, right? Every time I get a phone call, man, I'm losing viewers. It's fun. War of the Gods, right? This was supposed to be the 50th anniversary celebration of Wonder Woman. George Perez had been working on Wonder Woman, took over the writing, and he comes out with this great big, you know, Wonder Woman-centric crossover that, you know, that was going to be going on. It was going to have all these great crossovers. And at the same time, George Perez was also writing Wonder Woman, trying to work with editorial on this book and all the crossovers that come with it. And he was also working on the Infinity Gauntlet for Marvel. So this guy was all over the place doing all kinds of things, right? Yet DC editorial did not get behind this book. This thing ended up being a mess, which is one of the reasons why I never had that burning sensation to track them all down. I mean, it was always in the back of my mind, like I'll get around to it. But you know, they were trying to make it really easy to follow. They sort of did like what they did on Legends. Here's number 1, number 4. It was basically the Roman gods and the Greek gods and all the other gods got pulled in here. And there was people, I can't remember the character, but Wonder Woman becomes the champion for the Roman gods, of course, I think. No, the Greek gods. I'm getting confused. And they end up making Captain Marvel, the Roman gods end up making Captain Marvel their champion and stuff, right? And all this stuff happens around the DC universe that pulls it in. And it was 4 issues. It's fantastic stuff that I thought was kind of cool, very ambitious. And then they were going to have all the crossovers be numbered, right? And this is where things happen. There were books pulled into this crossover event that weren't supposed to be there for sales. They had books that were part of this crossover event. They never put the War of the Gods tag, nor did they number it. So it was a mess. You know, that was part of that's one of the reasons I'm so happy that I never really, you know, tried to get it in the 90s. I'm glad I'm getting it in the internet age. But you turn around here and stuff, like you have crossovers like this that really have nothing to fucking do with it. You know, you're like, you could have read, you didn't have to read that. You know, it had nothing to do with moving the story along. But they had the books that were like new books, low books that were in danger of being canceled, all the way down to just going ahead and saying, hey, here's our last issue. We'll put a War of God sticker on there. So yeah, I ended up getting a whole bunch of these. And this Dr. Fate series by James DeMantis, or Messner Lowe's, and I think James DeMantis did this, where Dr. Fate was made a female. This was really good. This really surprised me. So I ended up getting a whole bunch of those books, which was just fantastic. Throwing a little Flash and some Mercury, and it went through Wonder Woman. So yeah, these were kind of cool. I'm going to complete them. I think I only need about 4 or 5. And it's because the ones I missed were basically because they did not have the War of the Gods symbol on there. I need like Captain Atom. Yeah, like here's Captain Atom number 57. And I think this is the last issue of the series. Well, issue 56 was part of this, but they didn't put the War of the Gods on it. When I was flipping through the boxes, the place I found these at really cheap, I passed it up. So there's several books like that. There's a lot of fun in there. You can tell George Perez was really pushing for this, but DC Editorial just did not get behind it. So, that's nice, a nice little series that I'm trying to complete. And the rest of them, I'm also going to try to complete, like I said, Follow the Mutants. I like to get the ads for that, all that stuff, all the stuff that I had fun with back in the day, and you just never thought you'd get all of them and stuff. I think that's about it, man. So let me see what's going on in the chat. I can answer some questions or give some shout outs or something. Okay, yeah, Ghost Critics right there. I have to say I was pretty lost when I read War of the Gods. I thought it was just because I read it out of order. Wonder Woman is also always a great bride. Hello from Bonnie, Scotland. Oh, nice, man. What's up, Lou? But yeah, that's the whole reason I think War of the Gods failed. Not only was DC Editorial not behind George Perez, but if they're not working with him and he wants these books to tie in and do crossovers, I think it's kind of hard to steer the ship there when nobody is, helping you out and stuff. So I got a feeling they really screwed up something that could have been really amazing for Wonder Woman. And with Wonder Woman's getting all the attention she's getting now, the Justice League movie, the movie that's coming out, people who weren't into comics that are, fans of Wonder Woman and stuff because of TV shows, Super Friends, cartoons, and all that stuff, I think it's going to come back and be a black eye on their history there. All right, see if we got anything else. Okay, guys, I might do another live show today if I feel better. I'm going to go ahead and end this one. I got a few topics I might want to bring out. So I appreciate everybody that's popped in here and watched. I'm going to try to get a little breakfast, return a phone call, and finish my coffee because I feel like steamrolled shit. All right, guys, later.